Well, hello there, everyone. How are you this day? I was going to say morning, but could be any time, really. I You ready to hear about some latest of the archaeological discoveries here? You can hang out with me for a little while. We'll probably be maybe a little over an hour, perhaps. That's usually the usual time, and we'll just gab a bit about the latest discoveries. I'll share with you what I found. I'm picking out the things that happened just within the last month, and I'm hoping you'll enjoy. So where you coming in from anyway? We'll probably have a lot of Americans, but I expect some people from across the water as well. Oh, Glenn is here. Glenn's going to be my moderator today. Michigan, that's Glenn. Las Vegas, Paul's from Las Vegas. Mm, South Korea, great. Chase is from America. Denver, New Jersey, Vancouver Island. Yes. Australian in Bali. Wow. What time is it over there in Bali right now? Iowa. Okay, great. Oklahoma City. We get a lot of Americans here. South Dakota. Great. Chicago. All over the place. Thailand. Oh, Barcelona. Cool. LA, Kansas City, Long Island, Sydney, Berlin, Connecticut, Nantucket. Okay. Uh oh, Johnny, you're in Turkey right now? All right. But living usually in California. Going to Hattusha tomorrow and then to Urfa. Oh my gosh, this is going to be great. Oh, we got someone from Atlantis. Boras, St. Louis. Okay, we can go on and on forever. Uh, Before I show you the actual archaeological discoveries, I want to share with you a new website about archaeology called Real Archaeology, and it's set up by a bunch of archaeologists and also other scholars, historians, and so forth. And right this weekend, they've got live videos coming out. So if you go over to their website, real-archaeology.com, you can find out more about it. But see, online event 25 to 27th of October. And let's see, we're on day 2. So they got things going on today. And in fact, there are 4 other things going on at 11 a.m. Eastern. I think this is my time. US time. I don't know if it's Eastern or what, but anyway, I'm assuming it's Eastern. 4 other events going on, which there's another live stream over there on Flint Dibble's channel. Now, don't all go over there, stay with me, folks. But you can if you want to, if you see something interesting. But the thing is, these things will stay up. So even though you might not catch it live, you can go back and watch them. And there's things going on all day and all day tomorrow, I think, as well. So we got together. Basically, we academics thought, we should make more of an effort to try to do public outreach. And this is what Real Archaeology is all about. But you can find out more about it on the website. Do I know any of the speakers? Of course I do. Yes. And actually, they kind of had me in their group helping decide what was going on. But I was so busy, I didn't do a whole lot of participation myself as far as, getting the website up and all of that. But I knew about it, and I think it's exciting. So check it out. I think there's going to be more stuff going on for quite some time with Real Archaeology. The name, as you can see, is emphasizing the real part of it, as opposed to what we're constantly bombarded with online about ancient history, which may not be real at all. Yeah. Is archaeology dying? No, it's not dying. It's doing quite well, but it is being heavily bombarded with, misinformation mostly, but criticisms and so forth. And some criticism of archaeology is well deserved. One of which is that they don't do enough public outreach. So I think this is trying to help solve that problem. Jack says, any comments on an Egypt trip? Well, I'm going in a week. Yeah, I'm leaving in a week from Monday. And it's still, you still have time to get in on it if you want to. You know, if you go over to Adept Expeditions, also under this video, I have a link to it. If you want to go to Egypt with me, you'll be with me. It'll be a great time. I'm actually teaching about Egypt in Egypt, but you know, it's a 2-week trip, so yeah, it costs money, but I think it's well worth it. Yeah. Oh, hey, thanks, Glenn. He posted the link there for you. But yeah, I'm going in a week to film a new series of the Antiquities Travel. I changed the name. Antiquities Explorer. Yeah. As you know, Antiquities Explorer right now is putting out a series on China. Well, Egypt will be next. Now, you might say, I already did Egypt. Well, I did Northern Egypt. Now, I'm going to do Southern Egypt. Yeah, and there's all kinds of great things there, too. So, yeah. I have a question. Have you looked into the Baghdad battery claims? Yes, I have. Yeah. I can. There's a couple of good videos on the Baghdad battery already, which is why I haven't done it yet. But maybe I will. Maybe I will. Long story short, is that it's not a battery, but I mean, you can use it to produce a little bit of a charge, you know. But it was never used as a battery. But I don't have time to get into it right now. All right. I heard that it's being blocked in some important areas like Göbekli Tepe. No, Göbekli Tepe, they're excavating there right now. Yeah, History with Kaylee. She's got all kinds of images from Göbekli Tepe. What's going on there right now? The dig that's happening. Exciting stuff happening over there. All right. Well, anyway, let's talk about some of the discoveries. All right. So the first one I want to tell you about is no discovery at all. I don't know if you saw recently on Ancient Architects channel. He's got a big thing about the fake discovery here. And yeah, there's a little bit of deception going on, but I thought I should start with this because it made the news and all of that. All right. And that is 2,000-year-old tomb holding 12 skeletons found at Petra, where Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was filmed. And it was all over the news like this, like, oh, a discovery. This grave of 12 skeletons right there at Petra. And Petra is a popular site, okay? You know about Petra, right? They even look at this publicity photo. Yeah, it was on Expedition Unknown, that series, you know, Expedition Unknown, starring Josh Gates, okay? And there he is, and they're digging outside of the Petra treasury, and well, you know, this is actually the article about them finding it, okay? But oh, and also look at this picture. They're like, oh, a chalice that looks kind of like the Holy Grail, everybody. But actually, it's just a broken pot, and that's the top half, and it's upside down. So, yeah. Anyway, Josh Gates has got some backlash from this, and it's not just his fault. Of course, they were really playing it up for the TV show, but turns out the truth is that it was already excavated like 20 years ago. And it was refilled because they didn't have the money to work there further, and they wanted to protect it. This is what you do when you can't complete the excavation. You just fill it back up, and then you say, okay, we'll come back later. So it was already done by an archaeologist by the name of Farajat, something like that. And he was actually upset by this because he says, I discovered this. And he did. This was back in like 2003 to 2005, in that period there. And they acted in the show like it was a new discovery. And it was even announced by St. Andrews University as if it were a new discovery. They didn't even mention the original excavator. So you can't always believe what you see on TV, folks, right? And this is a case where there were some academics involved. I don't know. I think it was a geologist who was involved anyway. Oh, no. They're just calling them archaeologists. Pierce Paul Kreisman and Matthew Vincent. But the show probably even embellished it further than what they were even saying. I just wasn't real crazy about the idea that St. Andrews University was announcing it like this. Maybe they didn't know. If you Matt Simpson, who runs Ancient Architects, just did a whole video on it. You should check out. But notice here on his X account, he's got comparisons. This is the 2024 excavation, the recent one, and then to the right is the original one in 2005 in the same exact spot. Okay, and then here again, this is from 2005. This picture in the same spot. It's not new. All right. So something to be careful of. All right. Dr. Miano, how would you suggest getting a friend out of the pseudo-archaeology pipeline? How do I gently change someone's mind? It's not easy, Adam. It's not easy because there's something about it that people find attractive, right? They like it. And when they like something, it's hard to break them out of it. So I don't really have a definitive answer. If you just bombard them with data and facts, it sometimes doesn't even work and makes them double down. You just got to get them to like and enjoy real archaeology. So I would just suggest maybe sharing real archaeological discoveries, show what archaeologists are doing. And then when they hear the pseudo-archaeologist saying, oh, you can't trust those archaeologists, they never want to change their mind, they'll know that that's not correct because they're seeing the new discoveries, they're seeing what archaeologists are saying, and they're seeing their humility about the things that they're discovering and how they don't know it all. And they're like, what they're saying isn't really matching with what I'm hearing. Maybe that will work on them a little bit. Yeah. James says, I was in the pipeline, history time, histocrat, and the doc helped me get out. Play on their history and play on their interest in history and sneak it in to them. Good idea, James. Mandy says, wait, you mean people whose goal is to make money aren't always honest? Color me surprised. Yeah. All right, let's look at some real discoveries, though, which I've been promising you for the last 13 minutes. All right. So here's one from Egypt. Burial chamber of 12th dynasty high society woman in Aswit, Upper Egypt discovered. Upper Egypt, in case you didn't know, is southern Egypt. Yeah, this is where I'm going on my trip. A joint Egyptian-German archaeological mission from Sohag and Berlin universities has discovered the burial chamber of a woman named Edi, daughter of Jifai Hapi, who was governor of Aswit in, I think it's Asyut in Upper Egypt during the reign of King Senusret I of the 12th dynasty. So this is pretty far back. This is the thing with Egypt. You know, other countries are doing their archaeology and they're going back, a couple thousand years. We're going back nearly 4,000 years here. Egypt goes, obviously has some very old stuff. But yeah, now this is just the daughter of the governor. It's not like it's a king or anything like that. But it is a tomb that was found here from very far back, and you can see some images of some of the things they found within it. This is the area. Some figurines. This is the side of the coffin. This is a typical Middle Kingdom coffin. Some people ask me, like, well, why are there these beautiful stone sarcophagi in the Old Kingdom? And then in the Middle Kingdom, they're down to wood. And the answer is, same reason why we have cheaper things today. They don't build things like they used to, we always say. It's because it's easier, inexpensive, right? And so, they're trying to save money. The Middle Kingdom was not as wealthy as the Old Kingdom. So, they're doing things more on the cheap here. And what they used to have, used to have pyramid texts on the walls in the pyramids, things like that, or autobiographies on the walls of people's tombs. Now they put the equivalent of pyramid texts on the sides of the coffins. But the Middle Kingdom is still cool. Everyone always is obsessed with the Old Kingdom, but Middle Kingdom is very interesting. All right, let's look at another one. Ancient Babylon excavation. Yeah, did you know they're still working there? Absolutely. They uncover 478 artifacts, including cuneiform tablets and cylindrical seals. So take a look at this. This was announced by the Iraqi State Board of Antiquities and Heritage. And this is actually in the province of Babylon. It's not like directly in the city, but it's nearby the city of Babylon. Yeah, it's in the Al-Fayadiyya district. Okay. Mission in the Babil Governorate. Babil goes back to Babylon. Okay. And the archaeologist in charge is Kutan Abbas Hassan Aboud. And it has provided information that gives us insights into ancient Mesopotamian life and culture. They always do. And here's some of the cuneiform tablets they discovered. No translations just yet. All right. But this is for people now to work on. Usually what happens is when archaeologists find tablets, the archaeologists can't read them, usually. Some can. But they hand it off to the people who can, the cuneiform scholars, and then they're the ones that analyze them and tell you what they say. So that comes in the future. Let's see. The first layer corresponds to the Sasanian period. Now, this is later. It's still ancient, but it's later. However, this layer has suffered considerable damage due to erosion and human intervention over the centuries. Oh, there's some seals, cylinder seals. The second layer dates to the ancient Babylonian period. So that's below the Sasanian period. And the better preserved. Okay. So this is where they found these artifacts. These seals, by the way, were all used by officials, and they have their marks on them. They might have even their names on them. And you roll them out on clay, and you will be able to see the images hopefully very soon. So another exciting excavation that happened this month. Classic Time Team is a fantastic intro to actual archaeology, says Aubrey. Yes. Notice that piece of rope around the sarcophagus and on the stairs. Are they specifically for excavating? Oh, let's take a look. You mean the black and white thing? That's not a rope, or am I missing the rope? Or is it in another picture? That black and white thing is for measurement, like this, like these. Or was it here? Oh, this is not a rope here. This is a shadow. Yeah, it's for scale. These things are for scale. Yeah. Okay, let's look at another one. Oops. Archaeologists reveal significant Bronze Age discoveries at Vuon Troy. I hope I said that right. In Vietnam. Yeah. A pre-Dong Sun era settlement shedding light on the organized society that once existed in northern Vietnam. This is Bronze Age Vietnam. Okay. And here you can see part of the archaeological site where the press came out and taking pictures. You can see some skeletons here. And I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. Well, maybe I will. Dr. Nguyen Ngoc Quy, I don't even know if that's right, is the one who shared the information about this. The initial discoveries revealed a settlement area from the pre-Dong Sun period. And he tells you where it is. And then you can see some close-ups here of some of the funerary objects and the skeletons. And I forgot exactly now. It doesn't say here, does it? What years we're talking about. Maybe someone can Google that. But I forgot when the Dong Sun period is. So Vietnam is not one of my specialties. But anyway, it's from Bronze Age Vietnam. And they're going to be finding more things there as time goes on. So that's pretty cool. So that happened just this month as well. Will this be posted as a vid after? Yes, this will. And you can come back and watch it or whatever anytime you want. And then after the video, I will also post the links to all these sites. I don't have them up there yet, but I will put the links also. Does the weather in Vietnam or other wet, humid places make discoveries less possible or productive? The climate definitely has an effect on this. So, for example, I know in Mesoamerica, bodies do not preserve very well because of it's actually, it actually has to do with the acidity of the soil more than the climate. But the conditions on the ground definitely have a bearing on how well something's going to survive. Now, I don't know exactly about Vietnam. I guess they would have some similar problems in the humidity. but I'm not sure of the specifics. Patrick says 1000 BCE to 1 BCE. Okay, so for about 1,000 years. So it's that's the Dongsun period, Patrick? I'm taking your word for it because I'm not looking at it right now, but so it'd be before that. Okay, here's another one. A Punic tomb was discovered beneath the car park works opposite Mater Dei Hospital. 3 burial chambers, and this is in, I have to remind myself where it was. This was in, Malta, Malta. Look at the name of the newspaper. Yes, it's in Malta. So they found that. Now they were going to put a car park in there, and this is what they found. So the archaeologists have to come in, and they found a Punic tomb. Do you know what Punic means, everybody? Huh? Punic? Anyone know what that means? You like my my mug? I just want to stay home and hang out with my dog. Yeah. Carthage. That's right, Felix. Carthage. It's a Carthaginian tomb. Yeah. Punic is their language or culture we can use it for. Yeah. So that's what it's talking about. There's even a video here. I'm afraid if I play it, it'll have the sound. Turn that off. Okay. So you can see a little bit of it here. There's not a whole lot to see from the drone, but yeah. All right. Anyway, check that out when you get a chance. Okay. China. Now, technically, I'm supposed to. I always say I don't do prehistoric. I just do ancient. And this 5,000-year-old royal tomb is in some lands it's ancient period, but this is before there's writing in China, so technically it's considered prehistoric. But I thought it was kind of cool, and so I included it here. But 5,000-year-old royal tomb, and this is from Henan province, which is in the central part of China. It's about 5,000 years old, and there are about 350 artifacts unearthed there. Wangzhuang ruins in the city of Yongcheng. Okay, and this is from the Dawankou culture, which is between 4,000 and 2,600 BC, as it says, late Neolithic. Okay, now they've been excavating it. Okay, but more recently they've finished excavation of this royal tomb. So this is from a ruler, but of course, since there's no writing, we don't know his name. But yeah, it had he was inside 2 coffins, an inner and an outer one, and there were all kinds of burial items there, including jade and bone tools, animal remains. Okay, yeah, and his remains are not in there. It was damaged at some point in history. Okay, there are a few toe bones left, they say, but already they're using jade. And here you can see a piece of decorated ivory that was taken from the tomb. Yeah, so you can read up on that. And speaking of China, not only am I doing that series on China right now, episode 2 is coming out very soon. I'm working on that. And then I got to go to Egypt, and then episode 3 will come out after that. But I'm also going to be teaching a class, an online course on ancient China. Now, this goes far deeper than any travel video, because I'm going to do it like a college course. Okay, so you're basically getting a university level education on ancient China. I've got 2 classes because you can't fit it all into one. So 6 classes and then another 6 classes. So the link is below this video. But if you're interested in ancient China, I'm going to delve into it. The first class is about everything from the first dynasty, the Xia dynasty, up to the Qin dynasty, the first emperor. And then the second class is on the Han dynasty up to the Tang dynasty. All kinds of great stuff to talk about there. So if you're interested in China, check that one out. Okay. I won't see the emperor's tomb open between, yeah, well, anyone in the first half of 21st century. I don't know what the timeline is, honestly, but I know it's, on the slate, but there are a whole bunch of emperors' tombs that haven't been opened yet. I th I mean, I'm trying to get it when I was in China, I was trying to get a little some answers on that. It's kinda difficult to, I didn't because I haven't didn't meet any archaeologists, but the, um, the impression I got is that, uh, they are uncomfortable with the emperor's tomb because of the stories about there being mercury inside, and obviously it's toxic, so, I think they're worried about, you know, letting that out, and what could happen to the people working there, and they want the technology to get a little bit better. But considering that there are quite a number of emperors' tombs that haven't been opened yet, I also wonder if there's something more religious about it as well. Beliefs like maybe we shouldn't be desecrating the tombs of the great emperors, something like that. I'll try to find out more about that. Um, okay, let's look at another one here. Gate Sanctuary, discovered during the excavation of Archanes Palace in Crete, belonging to the oldest civilization in Europe. Oldest civilization in Europe? Before I show you, does anyone know what that is? What is the oldest civilization in Europe? Hmm, maybe I should define civilization for you. Urban society. Okay, urban society. That helps you out a little bit, maybe. Greeks? No, not Greeks. Dave says Minoan, and yes, Felix says Minoan. That's right, the Minoans. Oh, well, I guess Crete gives it away, doesn't it? Yes, Looney, Minoans. So here we have a gate sanctuary. A gate sanctuary is a sanctuary built at the gate. Okay. Um, so this is Archanes Minoan Palace in Crete, belonging to the oldest civilization, right? Gate sanctuary found okay, it's a little bit repetitive. It's built around 1900 BC, it says. Okay. And it's about 15 kilometers south of Knossos, the palace there. Yeah. Archaeologist working on it is Dr. Effie Sapuna Sakalarakis. Hope I said that right. Um, it's a three-story building. We've already known about the building because it's been excavated, but just recently, this month, they uncovered the gate sanctuary. Okay. A sacred gate. Okay. I guess the whole gate then. Here's a reconstruction of the gate. I'm not sure who drew that, but there you go. You might say, like, how do they know? I mean, look at how tall that is. The walls aren't there anymore. Uh, well, a couple of different ways. Number one, you can tell if there's a second story based on whether there are stairs going up or ladder post holes or something like that, and you know that there's a second story. And then the other way is by comparing it with the remains of other palaces and the typical designs of the period and so forth. And that's how you can reconstruct. But there is a certain amount of guesswork involved. There are 4 altars and 2 arms of a stone platform that accompany this sanctuary. Now, I don't think they have any idea what was done in the sanctuary. Like, well, if there's altars, you know that there's going to be offerings, but like who was worshipped there and why, we're not sure because Minoan writing has not been deciphered yet. Okay, but you can check that out. It's a pretty cool discovery. Minoans are Atlanteans, says Selena. Uh, well, that's one theory. That's one theory. Speaking of which, I'm working on a video right now, just almost done with the script called Atlantis, the Ultimate Guide. Oh, you're gonna love it. And I do touch on that a little bit about whether that is the inspiration of the Atlantis story or not. My personal point of view, and I'm giving it away here, is that it's not, because I don't know if Plato would have ever even known about it. But, you know, I do talk about some other possible influences. Uh, anyway, is there a connection between the Minotaur of Greek mythology and the bull motifs which occur in Minoan architecture? Well, that's one of the big questions. Uh, there could be. There could very well be. My personal interpretation of that is that the Greeks are the ones who had the Minotaur mythology, right? So we don't find it in Minoan culture. So maybe The Greeks would like look at the ruins of the Minoan palaces and they'd see the bull images and, you know, they spun a yarn about it. Because the bull imagery is very popular in Minoan art, you know. Okay. Don't forget tartar sauce. Okay. I actually don't mention tartar sauce in this video script. Should I put it in there? I don't really go into the details about all the different hypotheses because the main video is about the story of Atlantis as in Plato, where he may have gotten it from, and also what it means, you know. But I'll take a look at it again. People take the path of least resistance like things do in the universe. Reading is harder than watching a video. That's true. Going outside, getting your hands dirty, learning how to build actual things helps. Yeah. To know how big rocks were moved without magic or telekinesis. I know there's so many people who look at artifacts and they're like, well, I couldn't make that, so they probably couldn't make it, you know? Yeah. Throwbacks, thank you so much for the $5. Yes, everybody, if you want to support the channel, you can do that with a super thanks right here, right now. That's how I make a living. Like, this is my full-time job, and I'm supported by the audience. So that's why World of Antiquity exists. Occasionally, I will get a brand deal here and there, but they're hard to come by, you know? And they don't pay that much. So it's all you guys. That's it. Watching the commercials and, you know, giving super thanks or over at my Patreon, you know, monthly donations. That's all I've got. So I do appreciate it if you can support. Mandy says, Atlantis is a thought experiment. Thoughts only exist in people's heads. Atlantis was in Athens, inside the head of Athenians. Problem solved. Mandy, I agree with you. And in that video, I do try to explain why I think that. Yeah. Do you think geopolymers are a good explanation? I'm doing a geopolymer video too, Johnny, in a few months because it takes a lot of research. I will say this about the geopolymer idea, and that is, I don't think it's not a pseudo archaeological or pseudoscience idea, but it doesn't fit the evidence very well, I don't think. But I'll have to talk about that when I make the video, you know. Aubrey says, yeah, I think how we're constantly inundated with stuff that it does get exhausting. So watching a vid is easier than really working your brain more with reading. Yeah. Professor, do you ever do sale discount on your classes? Well, yes. The answer is yes. And in two different ways. All of my patrons. So if you go to Patreon and you become a patron, okay. Wait, I think you have to, is it at the $2 level? Yeah, I think at the $2 level. At the lowest level, $2 a month. If you're a patron, you automatically get a 15% discount on the classes. If you are a higher level, I should know this by heart. I think it's either $7 or $10 a month. You can get 25% off. The other way is if you're a continuing student, like your second class with me, and third and fourth and fifth and all of that, those are all half off. So the first class would be full price. You can still use the Patreon discount. But the second class and forward are all half price. So that's the other way you can get a discount. Yeah. But it's how I support myself. Teaching online, making videos. That's all I got. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at another one. Archaeologists uncover one of the world's oldest churches. Sensational testimony to early Christianity, quote. This is in Armenia, and it's a very old church. It's from the 4th century, okay? Churches are very rare before the 4th century, and the reason is because until Constantine, the Roman emperor, began supporting Christianity monetarily and building churches for them, they just like met in people's houses or above shops or wherever they could. Occasionally they might, if they were in a certain area where they had a wealthy donor, they might be able to make a building for themselves, but it's very rare to find an early church. But here's one from the 4th century, so super early. Constantine was from the 4th century. Okay. Um, yeah, so this is excavations at Artaxata, okay, once a thriving metropolis and commercial center. And they already found an ancient cathedral there, also built in the 4th century. The the Echmiadzin Cathedral, also in Armenia. Yeah. But here's the church itself. Okay, the foundations of it. There's a drawing on here to show you the walls. Okay, but that's basically the outline of the church. Kind of an interesting design. Uh, and yeah, the oldest archaeologically documented church in the country of Armenia, but also one of the oldest in the world. Yeah, you can see a little bit here of one of the alcoves. Okay, there's there are remains of a wooden podium there. Yeah. Pieces of the original material discovered at the site suggest the church was decorated lavishly with terracotta, likely imported from the Mediterranean. Remains of wooden platforms found along with the clay helped researchers confirm the building's ancient origins by way of carbon dating. Yeah. So pretty cool. So there's another one. Okay. Ruins of a Phrygian. You can also say Phrygian. I think um, Phrygian is more common, but I always say Phrygian because it's closer to the original. um, Ruins of Phrygian religious site unearthed. Now, what country would this be in, folks? Huh? Huh? Do you know where Eskişehir is? Huh? That's in Turkey. So, yeah, archaeologists have discovered ancient ovens and hearths thought to belong to Phrygians who inhabited the region around the 7th century BC during excavations at Midas Castle near Eskişehir. Yeah. So I actually went through this area. Didn't know about, well, of course, this hadn't been found yet, but I did go through Phrygian territory, saw all kinds of cool things. But here's a new discovery. They began digging here in 2022, and it's actually right where I was. I actually went to the Zilikaya Monument in the Midas Valley. I was there. I was trying to look at the landscape here to see if I recognized it, but I was there in 2023, so the work had already begun, but I don't remember seeing the. Oh, maybe I did see part of this. It's a little deeper now. This could be on top of them. Is this on top? I think this is on top. Yeah, I think this is on top the Acropolis. So, yeah, I recognize these steps on the right. Those rock steps on the right, they were there. I might have that in my Phrygian video. Go check out my Phrygian video and tell me if I showed part of this. But it's deeper now. So they've now discovered some ancient ovens and hearths there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I walked right past that. That's really cool. We got some. Oh, hey, easy peasy. Thank you for the donation. We should have a lottery system for people to choose a free course. In my opinion, love your works. I'll think about it. It's not a bad idea. Um, Finally, I catch the live, but it's near the end, isn't it? We still got like maybe 20 minutes to a half hour to go. Okay. Dave says, do you have any thoughts on the Aegean roots of the Etruscans and their massive iron production and how it changed the power balance in the ancient Mediterranean? Well, I can't. I mean, I get it. This is like something I can't really tell you in a few sentences. But also, I want to do a little bit more detailed research on the origins of the Etruscans. This might be a great subject for one of my Ancient Mysteries videos because it still is kind of, unknown. There are a few decent theories out there. So I'm going to hold off on that one, Dave. Ear-Sended Kitten, thank you so much for the donation. Do you think you'll ever do a video about Carthage or the Phoenicians? Yes, I will. There's so many things, so many topics, so many good ones. Don't worry. Yeah. Let's look at another one here. Ancient Scythians, or you can say Scythians as well, had cultural roots in Siberia. A royal tomb points to Eastern influences. Take a look at this. This is a horse mandible. Oh, preserved there, and a bronze stirrup. This is a 28-year-old royal tomb in Siberia. And what they found is that the objects within it were very similar to the Scythian objects that they've seen further west. Okay, now they were around 2,500 years ago in Central Asia. Okay, and this is 2,800. This is a few centuries earlier. At least one person and 18 horses were in there. Okay, and it shows evidence of a Scythian-style sacrificial ceremony for a king or other elite person. Gino Caspari is the excavator. You can find out more about it in Antiquity Magazine. And I think here's the, this might actually have some pictures. Let's take a look. Yeah, here is the, oh, look at this. Yeah. Oh, that's as big as it gets. Let's see. Okay, it's a little bit out of focus. Sorry about that. But you can see some of the remains here from it. But maybe if you go to this place yourself, you can see it in better detail. Yeah, early Iron Age horse sacrifice. So, helps us to determine a little bit about where the Scythians came from and what direction they were headed, right? Felix says there is a very clear cultural continuity from Mongolia to Scythia in the Iron Age. Okay, yeah. I've been watching a series of pen talks on the Phrygians. Pretty interesting archaeology. Cool, yeah. Oh, James, thank you for the donation. Next person has to one-up the dono. Keep the doc in furs. Well, thank you, James. I appreciate the support. Yes. Okay, let's look at another one here. Ancient Peruvian site yields first ever throne room of a female ruler. When I saw this, I got a little deja vu because I think last month I may have mentioned something about this, but they've uncovered some more artwork from this throne room. And I think we already knew that the ruler was a female ruler, but there's some more art that's been found. This is from the Moche civilization. This is between the 1st and 8th centuries of our Common Era. And here are some of the pieces of art that have been found. You can see the whole site here. And then there's some great Moche art. Still with the color on it, you know. It's one of the things you have to worry about because when you uncover art and it has colors on it, paint, oftentimes it being exposed to the air, it'll start to disappear, you know. So I'm glad we have photography, but a lot of these things have to be preserved in order not to fade. And here's some more here. You can see the archaeologist at work. Yeah. The one laying on the floor, you can see they've got like a map of the site. That's kind of cool. Archaeology is a cool field. I'm overusing the word cool. I apologize. It's a word whisker I have. But anyway, yeah, if you're thinking of going into this particular field, it's one that you probably would enjoy, but you should know it doesn't pay a lot. Okay? Neither does history. I always like to tell people about when I went into my field of history. My advisor says to me, okay, every time a new student comes, I was a grad student. Every time a new grad student comes in, I have to give them the lecture of dissuasion. And he told me all the bad things about this field. not about the actual work, but about how you're going to be poor, you know, and it's a terrible, you know, like it's not a great way to make a living is basically what he was talking about. And then I was there with a few others and he's like, so do you still want to do it? He talked for about a half hour and we're all like, yeah, we still want to do it. You know, if you like something, you like something. What can I say? So here I am on YouTube now. Okay. Let's see. We got some more comments. Thank you for everything you do, Dr. Miano, says Ralph. You woke a giant in me with these most recent finds videos. Oh, cool. I'm glad you like them. I had someone complain over on X today saying, I don't like your Twitch style live videos because I want you to just tell us the archaeological discoveries and I don't want to hear you talking to the chat. So, but I just want to remind everybody, I do have annually two videos that come out, one on the greatest archaeological discoveries of the year and one on the greatest historical discoveries of the year. So that'll be the kind of video format that you love, you know. If you don't like to gab with me or talk with me, you know, maybe live isn't the best for you. I don't know. And some of you are watching this after the fact. But you do have, you know, fast forward button and you can change the speed, whatever you want to do. And I even have I'll have the links, you know, of all the discoveries below the video afterward, and you can just click on them. That's okay. I don't mind. Yeah. Okay. Other than reburying, says Aubrey, how else would they preserve the art? But you can put things on it. Now you might say, well, wait a minute, they're ruining it. They're not ruining, but you can put things on it that help to preserve it. It's clear, you know, but things that would help preserve. I don't do that, so I don't know all the chemical nature of everything, but there are things you can put on it. Well, I like these videos very much. They are very cool. Well, thank you, AK. On the other side, I'm here because I like to listen to you gab about the history. Okay, Strobex, okay. Gotta expect reckless and trolls in the audience. Well, Psyops, I don't think he was a troll. I just, you know, he said he was older, and he's like, oh, that's what the kids like, you know, they like the chat stuff. You know, I just want the information. So some people feel that way, I'm sure. Okay, let's take a look at another one here. Czech archaeologists uncover largest Bronze Age burial site in Moravia. Yeah, this is near the place called Olomouc. Olomouc? I don't know how to say that. From the Nitra culture, and it's the largest burial site from that culture ever found from the Bronze Age. Yes, you can see it from the top here. And so this is dating to 2100 to 1800 BC, they say. And it's considered one of the most important findings in the research of this culture. 130 graves are in it. Yeah. So here you can see a little bit. They also yielded graves associated with the corded ware culture. You've probably heard of that, which coexisted with the Nitra culture. Notably, these graves did not disturb one another, suggesting a mutual respect between the two cultures. Yeah. And there was a Germanic warrior from the 3rd century, complete with a shield and iron spear, which has never been discovered in Moravia before. So anyway, there's not a lot of pictures from this one. I wanted to get your opinion on something, okay? I might make a video on this. But someone called in the comments on another video, archaeologists grave robbers. And it is true that I'm not an archaeologist, that archaeologists dig up a lot of tombs, a lot of graves. Probably more than anything else, they dig up cemeteries. Okay? So, are they grave robbers? What do you think? Easy Peasy says, yes. Everyone agree with Easy Peasy? Huh? This belongs in a museum, says Indiana Jones. Well, you have to keep something in mind. Robbery is when you take something for yourself. So technically, it's not robbery when you take it and you put it in a museum. All right? It's for everybody. Basically, it's for knowledge. It's for everybody. They're not trying to benefit themselves by taking it and using it and selling it. Well, some people have been known to do that from time to time, but normally they don't do that, right? So it's technically not robbery. Okay. Oh, well, then you might say, well, wait a minute. Well, they're grave desecrators. They're grave, they're disrespecting the dead. Surely you must agree with that, right? They're disrespecting the dead. Gizzy says he disagrees with me. Plenty of contract burglars and pawn stars. Yeah, but a contract burglar is still giving it to someone for their personal benefit, right? It's stealing. But an archaeologist doesn't steal. especially when, first of all, they have permission to go there. They have permission from the country, from the government. They have permission to go there and do it, right? The people who own it aren't the ones who are dead, are they? This is something I guess we could argue about, but they don't exist anymore, right? If there's a guy who owns a farm and he dies without any children, and it lays abandoned for 100 years, well, I don't really know what the legality of that is. I guess you can't just go into the farm, but it has to be taken over by somebody, right? So the government, right? He doesn't own it anymore. Yeah. And then you get into the whole question of whether the descendants of the people are around it, and maybe they would be offended. But this is so far back in time. It's not like their family members are around anymore. It's not recent, We don't even know who today might be related to them and if they would even care. They don't even have the same religion, But you could say, like, well, I believe in life after death, so the spirits, they are not going to like it. So if you believe that stuff, I suppose you wouldn't want to do it. But technically, from my point of view, a skeleton is an artifact. It's no longer a person. But I might offend somebody by saying that. Okay, anyway, that's a tangent. Sorry about that. Let's look at another one. Evidence of Assyrians' conquest of Holy Land discovered in Jerusalem. I think this is stretching it a little bit, but there is evidence here. This is from the 8th century BC. So this is from the time that the Assyrians laid siege to Jerusalem. Okay, this would be during the time of King Hezekiah. You're familiar with him from the Bible. And we have him mentioned in Assyrian records already. Okay, and Sennacherib is the king of Assyria who laid siege to Jerusalem. So this is in Jerusalem. And they found the remains of an administrative building. Now, this is a Judahite administrative building from the time. And they found all kinds. They found things from. Let's see if I have the images from that. Oh, here we go. We have some stamp impressions. These are parts of pots, but there are some that have stamps on them. And I thought there was a. Oh, I think it's in this video. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, it's a slideshow. There you go. Check this out. Right. This is ancient Paleo-Hebrew we're looking at here. So some of these are on handles of pots and things like that, see? So it's identified then, and we know from the time what it is, okay? But there's evidence that this administrative building was destroyed and then wasn't used again for like over a century, all right? And so they're saying that that is evidence, well, it ties in with, I guess you could say, it ties in with the Assyrian siege, which we know it happened because we have Sennacherib's own records that say it happened. So it's the same time period, approximately. So it links up. So I would say it fits with this. I wouldn't say it's proof that that it happened, okay? But because there's nothing that says like the Assyrians did this, okay? But it's the right time. It's the right time. So that's an interesting discovery as well. Yeah. Yeah, you can read up more about it on the link. Okay. All right. This is from India. Now, this is more a study. This is not a archaeological discovery. I like to include historical discoveries too, which would be studying things that have already been found archaeologically. And this is from the Haren culture. And by the way, I'm also working on a video about the archaeology of this time period. So if you're interested in that, that's coming up. I had an interview this week with an archaeologist who works on this time period. Anyway, from Ahmedabad, a study on earthen pots from more than 4,000 years ago sheds new light on dietary habits and cooking techniques during the Harappan era. Now, I know a lot of people are like, I'm not interested in what they ate, but a lot of people are, okay? And this is worthy of study. So they examined the residues from these pots, okay? And they found, the short story is, they found that they both boiled food and fried food. Now you might say, well, of course, doesn't everybody? Not necessarily. No, there are different cooking techniques from the ancient world. So you want to find out what they did. So this is a worthy study, and I thought it was interesting. So they both boiled and fried their foods. And this was done by, this is from the site of Surkotada, and the people that worked on it, Anna Ghosh and a bunch of others here. Yeah. And Anna Ghosh was the one that is interviewed, doctoral student. Yeah. So, interesting study. Okay. And then we have another study from a cemetery, and it reveals how daily life changed from the Iron Age to the Roman period. Now, this is in the area of the Latin culture in Europe. Okay, this is a Celtic Iron Age culture, and then into the Roman period. So pre-Roman and then Roman. All right. The cemetery is at a place called Vederat Belgium. It's in Germany, I think. It's in Germany, right? I'm pretty sure it's in Germany. And there's all kinds of remains here. 2,500 cremation remains and 15 inhumations. So most people were cremated, 15 not. All right. And they estimate there are probably 4,800 burials altogether in the cemetery. It's just that they haven't found all of them. Yeah. So what's the conclusion of this? The conclusion is they divided them up into time periods. There were 364 burials from La 10, 113 early Roman, and 1,212 Imperial Roman. Okay. And Dr. Teagan, who worked on this, says the cremains, is that what you call it, cremains? That's interesting. It's a cool combination of words. Clearly document the changing living conditions at Vederat Belgium between the middle, late Latin, and Roman times. The average lifespan and the life expectancy of the population shows a slight increase. Sex differences and mortality, however, persisted because women die younger because they're bearing children. On average, individuals lived longer during the Roman period than during the Iron Age, with far more cases of individuals reaching the age of 60 and above. So in the Roman period, more people were passing 60. Yeah. So it tells you that health conditions were a little bit better. Yeah. Females from both periods are more likely to die younger. Yeah. It was also discovered that only Iron Age individuals showed signs of violence, likely the result of brawls, indicating that conflict was less common during Roman times. Yeah, so there was less personal conflict, I guess you could say. This is not about wars. This is about personal conflict, yeah, in the Roman period. So that's interesting as well. Check that out. Babies, says Samantha. Yeah, dying at 60. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's look at another one. Razed city that rebelled against Rome remained uninhabited for over 170 years, excavations reveal. So this is in Italy. A city was besieged and destroyed in 125 BC, it says, probably in dispute over the rights of Roman citizenship. This was in the days when the people who were living in Italy, many of them weren't citizens, and there was a war about it. I think it's called the Social War. And this may have been from that time. So here you can see the excavations going on here at a place called Fregelai. I think that's the ancient name. And it was burned down by the Romans in 125. So this is one of the rebel cities who were trying to get citizenship. And the Romans, and they rebelled against the Romans, and because of it. They ended up giving citizenship after the war, but first they won the war. Yeah. Yeah. The reason for the rebellion isn't known, but archaeologists think it was because the people of Fregelai had demanded full Roman citizenship instead of the second-rate citizenship, with fewer legal rights, especially regarding the ownership of public lands that they had been granted by the Roman Republic. This long-running dispute culminated in the Social War. I was right. Roughly a generation later, from 91 to... okay. Okay. So the Social War is a little bit later. So I was wrong. But it was probably about the same thing. Okay. So yeah. So they found remains of this destroyed city here. And hopefully in the next few years, they'll find some excellent artifacts. Oh, modern Italian. Fragile. Okay. Thank you, Bullock. Yeah, Will, thank you so much. $10. Appreciate it. In your travels and studies, are you working on any ideas or theories that maybe haven't been proven yet, but you feel maybe one day will be? Appreciate all the work you put in. Yeah, one of the problems right now, Will, is I am so busy just trying to teach and get videos out that I've got a whole list of ideas and half-finished articles on various ideas, some hypotheses or theories that I have, and they're on hold because I just don't have time. And I probably now don't even have time. I have a list of like, gotta be 30 article ideas and like at least like 20 book ideas. I'll never be able to do it all in my lifetime, but at least I have things I want to do, I know a lot of people think I don't, all you do is poo-poo new ideas, but I have tons of new ideas too. Okay. I don't do that. If an idea is bad, then I might say that, but yeah. Take your time, says Easy Peasy. If you ever finish one, make sure to let us know. I will. Yeah. I do have a paper that I presented a couple years ago, live. It's on the, Save Ancient Studies Alliance YouTube channel. And that's my own theory, so you can check that out if you want. Yeah. Do you use an RSS feed? No. I probably should. There's graffiti. The Gracchi brothers slept here? In this place? Or I didn't read about that. But yeah, you're in the right general time period, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, let's look at the last one, everybody. Last one. Roman era marble statue found in Bulgaria's Varna. You can see it on the right there in situ, and then on the left after they took it. Okay, it's almost complete. There's like one hand missing. I think that's it. I think it's just one hand that didn't make it, but the rest of it is complete. And you might be wondering, who is it? Well, it's no famous person. Okay, it's an important person at the time, but it's not an important person from we don't know them. We haven't heard of them. It's from the ancient city of Odessos, from around the 2nd or 3rd century CE, and it's slightly larger than life size, made of fine white marble, very well preserved. Middle-aged man with a short beard. Here you can see a little bit better. Short beard. He's dressed in a toga. He's holding a scroll, and you have an inscription, and he is identified as Gaius Marius Hermogenes. Yeah. They know from the way he's dressed that he had close ties with Roman authority. Probably a prominent citizen. But, we don't know. Probably in the city he was important, like Jebediah Springfield or something. But for us, we don't know about him. I don't think he's mentioned in any ancient documents. Maybe they'll find him in an ancient document. It's possible, but the archaeologists probably don't know. Yeah. Well, those are the discoveries I curated for you. I hope you enjoyed hearing about them. Again, if you can support the channel with a super thanks, I'd much appreciate it. Or if you want to do it long term, you can go over to Patreon, patreon.com/World of Antiquity. All of your donations are so appreciated. It helps keep this channel going. Great that you all could come. I hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you next month. See you later, everybody.